Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Report for HAPS News, the network of now. It is Tuesday, January 19th, and we've got less than 24 hours before Donald Trump is officially no longer President of the United States. We're going to cover some of today's top headlines, some of Trump's worst moments, why we're looking forward to the Joe Biden presidency, and there's a chance for a real fresh start with Joe Biden. And we're going to talk about all this and more this morning on the AM Report. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Report. Thank you all for joining. If you're watching on the HAPS Apps website, app, or platform, click the award button. Let us know you're enjoying it. Or if you're watching on Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, leave a comment so we can bat around with each other live on air. Michelle Alexander, oh my God, let's just do this inauguration today already. She says, yeah, it's finally here. And tomorrow, Joe Biden will be inaugurated President of the United States around noon Pacific time. And we've got a lot of headlines to cover this morning. I want to thank you all for joining. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for joining. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Let's cover some of today's top headlines. Joe Biden, is set to release his 8-year immigration plan. So the path to citizenship is a reversal from Trump's draconian immigration policies. President-elect Biden will release the immigration plan tomorrow, which will provide an 8-year path to citizenship for an estimated 11 million people living in the United States without legal status. Now, this really is a reversal from the way that Trump has been doing business because it's actually creating opportunities for citizenship for immigrant populations. And immigration reform has been an objective, a bipartisan objective for members of both parties for many years. To see that Joe Biden is going to actually be taking steps towards that tomorrow, first day in office, is very, very heartening. What do you guys think about that? Leave us a comment and let us know. And yeah, are you looking forward to that? And I know I've got friends who have been married to people who are born in different countries and who have had a hard time even getting their new spouse's citizenship because of the current systems that have been in place by the Trump administration. So members of the Trump team are behind the insurrection rally that happened on January 6th. So the Trump 2020 campaign staffers played key roles, and this is according to the AP, some review of dozens of financial records and documents. The rally held in D.C. prior to the insurrection at the Capitol was orchestrated and planned by more than half a dozen staffers of Trump's failed presidential campaign, according to the AP, and they were paid thousands of dollars. So this really undercuts the White House's representations that the event was organized by grassroots supporters. It really undoes the defense that the White House had nothing to do with it and that they weren't inciting violence, because they clearly had something to do with it. They paid staff members from the campaign to hold this rally. It was due in large part due to the Trump 2020 campaign. So this does not look good for the president. Outgoing president, less than 24 hours left because he's got a Senate conviction trial that's looming, and really in his last couple days he's really going to leave us with quite a thud. On MLK Jr. Day yesterday, he released a report from his 1776 commission that justified slavery. A racist report from Trump just 2 days before he leaves office, you say? You don't say. A 45-page report from his 1776 commission was released yesterday, and it found excuses for slavery and the Three-Fifths Compromise, that it declared slaves counted as less than full humans, and it attacked socialism and, quote, identity politics. So it really was just, it read like a right-wing manifesto, really, and just added to the layers of disgrace in the final days of the Trump presidency. And with the Trump presidency, all roads lead to Putin, and they have since the 2016 campaign. All roads lead to Putin, but now we're learning that the insurrectionist that stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop, the House Speaker's laptop, during the January 6th insurrection's name is Riley June Williams, and is being investigated by the FBI for stealing the laptop during the insurrection and trying to sell the device to Russian intelligence. How does that happen? How does that happen? It is very shocking, and we don't know how it's possible. But with Donald Trump, all roads lead to Putin, and it's not just that; it gets worse. Parler, the far-right media, social media website, has been partially returned online after being dropped by Amazon Inc.'s hosting arm and other partners like Apple and Google, but they were able to find a hosting service in a Russian-owned technology company, which has put them back online. So Parler, far-right propaganda and fake news and conspiracy theory website that many are holding responsible, at least partially, for drumming up the conspiracist misinformation that drove people to riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. It's back online thanks to the help of Russian-backed intelligence. And the FBI is now investigating whether Russian-backed money was behind the Capitol insurrection as well, in more ways than one. So now we're looking at whether this insurrection was, yes, incited by the President of the United States, but also had the support of a foreign hostile power who for many years has been trying to circumvent our democracy and interfere with our free and fair elections. So if it is found that a foreign hostile power is it's not just a social media campaign anymore, is actually backing on the ground attacks in the United States, then that's very, very troubling. And we will keep our eyes on that. News. In some lighter news, the confirmation hearings for Joe Biden's cabinet picks have started today. They're currently ongoing. The nominees appearing before Senate committees today are Janet Yellen for Treasury Secretary, Avril Haines, Director of National Intelligence, Alejandro Mayorkas, nominee for Homeland Security, Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, Lloyd Austin, nominee for the Defense Secretary. And that's because yesterday Kamala Harris resigned her Senate seat in California, and today we're going to have 3 new senators in Ajan and in Alex Padilla, who was appointed to replace Kamala Harris from the state of California. And so 3 new senators, a new democratically controlled Senate. Today the Senate is back in session and are working to make sure some of these key cabinet posts are appointed and confirmed so that Joe Biden, the transition can happen very smoothly and Joe Biden can come into power with some of his most key roles already established. So, and the inauguration is tomorrow, and ahead of that, Washington, D.C. is under lockdown, but also a field of flags is on display at National Mall. It's not just a military lockdown. There is a beautiful art installation. Check it out if you can. It's called the Field of Flags. It's hundreds of thousands of flags that have been put up to represent the American people who are unable to travel to the inauguration because of COVID-19 and the security threats that were posed by the January 6th insurrection. And there's 56 pillars of light representing the U.S. states and territories that were lit up for 46 seconds last night to mark the inauguration of the 46th president. So by all means, it is still going to happen. We know Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, former presidents, and the first ladies will be there. Members of Congress, the Speaker of the House will all be there. And so there is also still an occasion to celebrate and to commemorate, and we will be watching tomorrow. It has been quite secured. The security around this event has been a topic of conversation, and we learned a couple days ago that 25,000 National Guards troop members of the National Guard were going to be securing the event, but that there was some concern that there may be an inside attack. So each member of the 25,000 National Guard members were being vetted, and today we're learning that 2 members of the National Guard were removed from inauguration duties because of their ties to far-right militia groups. So the AP found that the National Guard members were removed after the vetting process. There was no plot against Biden found or uncovered, but due to an abundance of caution, these 2 National Guard members were removed, and that's sort of what we're hearing is there's no rock going to be left unturned in terms of providing security to this event to facilitate the peaceful transfer of power. And when we talk about peaceful transfer of power, it really is the cornerstone of American democracy, one of the cornerstones. It's an incredibly crucial cornerstone of American democracy, and it has already been thrown out the door. So this was not a peaceful transfer of power. That has already failed, and that is a very troubling reality that we're going to need to come to terms with for a long time. And there shouldn't even have to be this heavy of a National Guard presence at an inauguration of a duly elected president of the United States. So a lot to unpack there, and it's just one of the many things that Trump has left behind, and a legacy that is full of disgraceful and troubling, problematic affronts to our democracy. The president's approval ratings are a record low today. He leaves behind a divided America, a looming impeachment trial, a higher unemployment rate than when he took office, and more than 400,000 dead Americans due to the COVID-19 crisis, which his administration bungled and lied about and refused to listen to science and save lives. And because of their fecklessness and their hands in the air approach to this virus, we're learning that more than 500,000 people will have died from this virus by March. And that's 500,000 Americans. That's more Americans dead than the combination of all of our foreign wars that we've participated in over the last 100 years combined. It's pretty stunning. And it's not just the COVID-19 deaths. When we look back on Donald Trump's legacy as president of the United States, we're going to look back on his history. We're going to regard his failures in Puerto Rico. When the hurricane hit in Puerto Rico and the federal government's feckless and inefficient response, it led to the San Juan mayor, Yulín Cruz, calling it genocide because more than 3,000 people died due to the federal government's feckless response to the hurricane in Puerto Rico. We're going to look at his failures in Las Vegas after the shooting in Las Vegas, and his inaction on gun control, on gun reform, after people were shot and killed in the worst act of gun violence on American soil in American history under his watch. And the Republican response, Donald Trump's response, was to do nothing. When children were slaughtered at Parkland, high school students were slaughtered, the president did nothing. He did nothing but offer thoughts and prayers. These are going to be defining moments of his presidency. The Charlottesville, the young woman, Heather Heyer, who was killed at Charlottesville early on in Trump's presidency, when white nationalists demonstrated in the streets of Charlottesville, that's going to be Donald Trump's legacy. It's going to be lying and telling us it's just a hoax, telling us that it wasn't any deadlier than the flu, when he knew that it was deadlier than the flu. His legacy is going to be the death of Americans. It's going to be the lies to American people. It's going to be having been the only president of the United States to be impeached twice. It's going to be the nonstop division and rancor. It's going to be repealing the children's health insurance program, which insured 9 million children in the United States, which is something that was repealed that was failed to be renewed under Donald Trump's presidency. When we look upon Donald Trump's presidency, we'll look upon a president who failed to protect the LGBTQ community, who took actions to strip away protections from LGBTQ people in the workplace, in the military. We're going to look at the failures in abroad, the botched military operation in Yemen that left 25 civilians dead, including a 3-month-old baby. That was in his days after his inauguration. Days after Donald Trump's inauguration, he authorized a botched military operation that left people dead with no actionable intelligence and nothing to show for it, and we still don't know why. When we reflect on the Trump presidency, we will reflect on a man who spent hundreds of days and millions of dollars golfing. We're going to look at his failure to release a health care act, a health care bill, and his attacks on the Affordable Care Act, his cozying up to dictators like Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. We're going to look on his leaving behind a hyper-partisan electorate, all in the name of trying to make America great again, of trying to drain the swamp. But Donald Trump's legacy was not to drain the swamp. It was to fill it. And it wasn't make America great again. It was death to America. But the good news is that America's institutions held, and there will be a lot of work to do to protect America from to rebuild after this really devastating time in our nation's history. But death to America did not work. He wasn't able to succeed. Our institutions held. We had a free and fair election. We are going to transfer power to the next duly elected president, and the work of undoing Trump's harmful effects and legacy is yet to be seen and yet to be done. But tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon Eastern, Joe Biden will be inaugurated President of the United States. Kamala Harris will become the first woman Vice President of the United States, and the work will begin. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with Rance Collins, Editor-in-Chief of 800 Democrat, to discuss the inauguration. Hope we will see you there. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.